before the time is up. So in no particular order, are the delegates from Akums here? Okay, all right. You're from Akums? Um, so let me find soon. So Amsun. So I think you could sit together. Are you? You met. Egerton, you met, sir. Okay. Jaquat, Jekuzma. Kebumsa. Medsam. Mkumsa. Msamu. And then Msaku. Okay. So our Chebukati, you can come here. Where the other Msaku is? Are they Uzima, Msau. Okay, so I guess the only team, maybe Mwikali, you can advise then Tamus to Wesley to join the Zoom link. And then for any of your delegates who are struggling to enter the Zoom link, just tell them to register on the Zoom and the link goes to their email. So they log into the Zoom link through what's sent to their email. Because I think there are people who are facing challenges with that. So now we're gonna just take it from the top. Just confirmation of each university and the 3 candidates. So do you have you can check on the NIMO vote. So for each school, are they put together? So we just like confirmation for AMSUN. Are all the delegates registered or are there people who need to be followed up on? They're not registered at all. Okay. Just a quick moment. Okay, so AMSUN will work on it. So next we can go to Akums. James, are all your delegates registered? And is everyone is fine? Okay, perfect. But they're fine with the platform. Yeah, fantastic. So we have one school that is fine. So is everyone okay, Egerton? The three. Okay, awesome. So it's soon to work on. Just ask Karen to join the link and to check on the emails. The next, so Umedsa, Lydia, is everyone from JQuat okay? Are they all on the platform? They're fine. No technical difficulties. Okay. And yeah, just advise them to join the link. So Mwikali, are all your delegates registered? Are there any technical challenges? One had an issue, so far Amsun and Kemumsa. So we'll need to have time for that. Then the next school, Frederick, are all the delegates from MKU good? Awesome. Okay. Hillary, are all the delegates? So Amsun, Kemumsa, and Msamu. Is it 2 delegates or 1? Both delegates. Okay, so we'll just have to bear with that. Lemashon just asked Vivian if it's been corrected. Okay, so now we can go to Uzima. Taib are all, so it's only you. And the other 2, the treasurer and the sec, wamesign? Did they send their emails? Okay, so, okay, also Uzima. So Msamu, Uzima. Then as we take time for those delegates, since at least so far the presidents are present and presidents can generally vote, I'll allow Uzima the time to raise an issue concerning another member, which we can then discuss and see how to proceed. It was tabled that for the 11th member, or the member who has not paid for their 24-25 dues and had not completed payment for 23-24, and according to the constitution, if you default on 2 years, you can't vote. So this issue was to be tabled by one of the presidents. Let me get the other mic.
I know it's better. Good evening. I hope tuko chonjo sote, sio? Za Kiswahili inawapiga chenga. I hope all of us are well. Good. So there is a concern here which I was to raise today. It's about the participation of Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, MUST in short, in this voting process. So the concern was that on behalf of MUST, because I think they can join virtually, they can see me. They have requested that I request your your order to this issue for them to vote. So it's a request for the Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology to vote. So that's the request. Are we concording? Tunaelewana ama?
Maybe we can invite another comment on the same, because since it's a constitutional issue, then it's up to the members to decide how to vote. I'm not necessarily the most versed with how to direct such a procedure, but I'd assume, and I hope I'm not violating the constitution. Okay, they'll allow you to speak. That it just needs to be agreed or highlighted.
Well, good evening to Kochonjo. Just to put everyone at par, first of all, my name is Jude Mugo, the finance officer MSAKE, the outgoing, in a few hours. Masinde Muliro, last year we had subscription fees, and each school was supposed to pay 12,000. They managed to pay 7,000, and they haven't cleared the balance. There is also the subscription fees for this year. They're supposed to clear 12,000, so a total of 17,000. My request to the person who will be coming before me and to the President's Council is that they can be allowed to vote, but again, they have to make a pledge. And if they do not meet that pledge, then going forward, they can be suspended. Yeah, so that is my humble request or my suggestion. Thank you.
So are there maybe any other comments before we decide how to vote on this issue? Going once, going twice. All right. So I mean, I think you can just do it an open vote. So there'll be those in favor, there'll be those against, and then maybe those who will abstain. So the way voting goes is 2/3 majority passes. So in this case, since there are 10 members here voting, 2/3 majority of 10, 4, 6, 7. So then 7 people have to vote. All right. So those 4, you can just raise your placard, and then so on and so forth. So those 4, Masinde Muliro, as proposed by MSAU to be able to vote in this assembly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, those against.
Thank you. Good evening. I think we have just had a concern that has been raised, and we are getting to voting to decide whether they should or should not be allowed to vote. But I think I would like maybe to just know, like, what has been the challenge is trying to raise the subscription fee, and have they shown interest? There's a difference between being willing to pay but you are not in a position to pay, and it's different if you are in a position to pay but you are doing nothing to pay for it. And since maybe on that.
uh, Wesley in? Is Wesley in the meeting? Online.
Meanwhile, maybe I can say something. I think paying the 7K is already initiative enough. 7. That's already more than half. And speaking as a president, 7K is not easy. That's commitment enough. Yeah. So I think we should just allow them to vote. Principally, they already have financial stake in the association. Alienating them from the association would start conversations around reimbursing that 7K. But once there's exchange of money, there's some contract and some expectations. So I believe we should just allow them to vote. But in case they do not meet their deadlines that will be set afterwards, now the contract indicates like suspension. Yeah, but they are members of the association and they should vote.
And since I'm also a voting member, for me, it's not my rule as SECGEN is to be impartial. So even the purpose of doing this kind of tabling is just so people can understand the dynamics of membership. For instance, us as MSAKE, we usually have a membership to FMSA, which is around 120,000. And for instance, if you don't pay that amount, let's say by last year before the deadline for the new term, you're automatically suspended. Or you can even apply for what you call a payment plan and pay it staggered across before the next term. So that's what we opted for. And just the other day, March meeting, the General Assembly for FMSA, you have to, we had an installment due. And I'll tell you, if we did not pay that installment, even though we paid already 40%, the first installment, now the other installment was around 20-30%, would have been suspended. And so I'm not sure about the commitment, but maybe it's with concern to, like, let's say our context and even the points that Jude brought up with concern to what was happening in Masinde Muliro. But the purpose of that is, if we don't also adhere to the constitution that we have, then you affect the stability of the organization. So it's not so much of being mean and not allowing people to vote, but even if you go and sign up for membership at any club or any place in Kenya, I don't know. I mean, in Kenya, yes, there's always that kuongea kando, but we also really need to revise it at times. So I just advise people not to be biased when casting the vote, without giving that due thought with what membership means. And I say that with complete respect and with honor to the concerned local chapter. So I think Mikali and who else, maybe you can just have one more person speak on the topic, then we can vote. Other than Mikali, going once, going twice. So Mikali.
So I'd like to say something on the membership fee. So when this council was coming in, not many of you are aware, but we had a bit of debt. So the membership fee is really important to ensure that all the medical students get to participate in events, especially Scopy for exchanges. So so despite the voting, I hope when we go back, every president should work to the payment is made. But then speaking on the issue of Masinde Muliro, I think someone said about the transition, and I happened to be in the presidential council before Nyakio and during Nyakio, so I quite understand their struggle, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to come up with like payment plan to ensure that they pay. And once they vote for this session, now coming the next session, hopefully the next president will be coming, will ensure that all the dues are paid. Because I know at the end of the day, we all experience our own problems. So, and as a president, I really understand the struggle of having to get that registration fee, considering that not many associations are funded by the school. So we appreciate the grace. We can give them the grace, but then going forward, because at times we'd like that to be extended to us. So going forward, we can always come up with a clear payment plan. And then to the students, when you go back to your schools, if you're supposed to pay some registration fee, it's actually good to support your organizations so as to ensure that it matters that your school is needed to make some decision-making choices, like you're represented. So to the members, just make sure you support your organizations to ensure that we don't find ourselves in such a situation. Yeah.
Okay, and just to add what Mwikali has said, at the moment, as I'm speaking right now, I have received membership fees for only 4 schools. So it really tells a lot. There's a struggle everywhere. So, and the deadline has passed. So we think about that. Yeah.
So we can just vote on that. Just updates. Samu Hillary, have your delegates been registered? So it's still only 1, 2. Okay, and then the other school which had an the other school which had an issue. Okay, so which other school are we following up on other than Amsun? Amsun just has 1 more, because we really need to get to the point of being able to let the candidates share their candidatures. Okay, so I guess those are the schools we'll follow up on. So let's just vote on that matter for the voting registration for Masinde Muliro. So all in favor of allowing Masinde Muliro to vote at this AGM, you can raise your placard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's unanimous. So that just it goes through. So you can tell Wesley to send the details. So I think to give the team time to be able to register the other members, what we can do instead of taking a pause in between each of the candidatures is that we'll just have everybody present in the different standing committees. So I think from this point I'll call Thaddeus because he's created the list of the order. So we're going to start with the candidates for the Standing Committee of Mental Health. So we'd like to invite Patricia. So maybe we can just give an applause for Patricia as she comes. So because we're gonna do the questions to all the candidates at the same time, you can keep your notes for all the candidates. So you have 3 minutes to do your presentation. And so we can begin.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing? You're fantastic. Okay. In the spirit of mental health, I'd like you to please tell your neighbor how you're doing. Are you fantastic? How are you doing? Are you hungry? Are you okay? They are hungry. Tell them it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Okay. So great. So great. All right, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, ladies, gentlemen, I'd like you to relax as I bring in my words into your hearts and into your minds like a screwdriver. My words which are as sweet as chocolate. So, my name is Patricia Obinda. I am a 6th-year medical student. I am an author of 2 books which I'll be launching in a few weeks from now. And before the end of this year, I'll be writing 3 more books. I am a certified speaker with special interest in mental health. I am a leader. I am the co-founder of an NGO which does health advocacy, youth empowerment, and leadership training. So I'd like to start with a quote. Healing is not about silencing the storm. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. What if I tell you about a story about a 28-year-old doctor? My presentation, sorry. What if I tell you a story about a 28-year-old doctor who jumped off from a 3 building unto death? And what if I tell you the story of about what if I tell you the story about a young female doctor who will overdose herself to death? You see, when I say this, it's no doubt that you're going to be unsettled. But the surprising thing is that you're not going to be surprised or shocked. Why? Because depression and suicide are things that have become so common in our society today among the medical community. Next slide. Statistics from the WHO. I know we have, next slide. We heard of this story. And statistics from the WHO state that every 1 minute, 4 people die as a result of suicide. And amongst every 7 medical doctors or anyone in the medical field, 3 of them suffer depression. And it's ironical because these are the people that are expected to bring in healing to the community. But what people don't know is that this is where it all begins. Medical school. It all begins here. This is where it all begins. Next slide. Yeah, I know all of us can relate to the marathon exams, the long study hours. Next slide. The long study hours, the roasting. I know you can remember that time when you were in the hospital. Now, for those who are in the clinical years, when that consultant told you something which you felt so bad. I know all of us here can relate to the times where you would wake up and you will be breaking down and crying because of the exams that are ahead of you. And the only thing we need is just someone to tap you in the back and tell you that everything is going to be fine. Next slide. So this is what pushed me to have a burden for the mental health state among medical students. And I served as the local officer for the Standing Committee of Mental Health in my local chapter. And we founded this club under LOS ComH called Achilles Heel.
Sorry, your time is up, so you can just finish your presentation in the next 10 seconds.
Okay, so we founded this club where we were able to build community where medical students will be able to relate and will be able to have a space where they can be able to talk about what they're going through and what they're going through and how they can be able to cope. And so I won't talk much about that, but I envision a future where mental health is going to be something that is well versed among our medical schools, not just in one single university, but amongst every medical school in the country. I have a number of things in my action plan, and I am certain that it is going to that they're going to come to pass. I am very dedicated, and I'm very hopeful that everything that I've written in my work plan, by the grace of God, is going to come to pass. Yes, so this is just a picture of what we've been able to do in our local chapter, having Zumba sessions. Yeah, thank you so much, Nyakio.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you so much,
Patricia.
everyone.
All right, thank you. So there being no other candidates for the Standing Committee on Mental Health, we shall proceed to the Standing Committee of Reproductive, sorry, it's usually a long name, Standing Committee on Sexual and Reproductive Health, including HIV and AIDS scorer. Let's applaud Mary Jerop as she approaches.
Good evening, guys. Good evening.
Evening.
How are you? I want you to be lively. How are you? So my name is Mary Jero. Oh, yeah, but I'd sent this.
So your time begins now.
My name is Mary Jero. I'm from Moi University, College of Health Sciences. I'm a third year medical student. I'm vying for Scorer National Officer for the year 2025-2026. So my background, I'm a proud SRHR advocate and also a certified IFMSA trainer. IFMSA is International Federation of Medical Students Association of International Federation of Medical Students Association. And also, I'm a gender and public health emergencies facilitator. Lastly, I'm a content creator from MSAKE Media Team 2024-2025. I'm sure most of you have seen our videos on Instagram. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, thank you. So, can anyone tell me what SRHR is? SRHR is sexual and reproductive health and rights. So, the importance of SRHR contributes to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 3 and SDG 5. SDG 3 is good health, and SDG 5 is gender equality. Next importance is it promotes health and well-being of individuals as well as a human right in the international framework. So my vision for SRHR in MSAKE is to foster an environment where people are free to advocate for their rights. People are having a state of well-being. And also my focus areas will be addressing gender-based violence. From our year, last year, I'm sure you've been seeing the protests towards GBV, against GBV, sorry. We also have advocating for contraceptive use, and according to our theme, adaptive vision and strategy in an era of climate change, we'll be fostering for climate change in SRHR. And lastly, comprehensive sexual education. Comprehensive sexual education is advocating and teaching people on what sexual well-being is and reproductive health. So during our timeline, during the quarters from quarter 1 to quarter 4, we'll be implementing for SRHR from initial assessment and lastly to consolidate for long-term sustainability in SRHR. Strategy. As a content creator, I'd like to use social media as a tool to spread awareness on SRHR because most people don't know what SRHR is. We can also have capacity building sessions. As an IFMSA trainer, I'll be advocating for more people to be in these spaces. We have advocating for policy reforms. As you all know, climate change and SRHR, people most don't know that it's related, but it's really quite related. We have collaborations with other NGOs. So lastly, why am I the right candidate? I'm very passionate for SRHR. Most people who know me see my status and always see that I'm advocating for it. From my experience and expertise in SRHR, and lastly, my visionary leadership from a proven track record.
Your time is up.
Oh, thank you so much.
Let's applaud her and her efforts. So for the Standing Committee of Sexual Reproductive Health Rights, HIV and AIDS, there was another candidate, but this candidate withdrew and gave me formal notice through our official email. Yes, so they gave formal notice that they were withdrawing their candidature. So I think it's better to just remain it as anonymous. But you can even check the people who had stood for the position. So the next standing committee that we shall be seeing the candidates for are two. So this is the standing committee of research exchange. So we shall go in alphabetical order. So one of the candidates is online. Brinda, are you prepared to make a presentation? Because I can't see Brinda on the form. So I think because of the interest of time, Brinda is from the University of Nairobi. So Lemashon, maybe you can text Brinda or any delegate from UN to get into the Zoom link immediately. So what we'll do is we'll have Stacey Akinyi of Kemumsa coming to present. So you can just applaud her as she comes.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Stacey and I'm bidding to be your National Officer for Research Exchange. And I hope that you're going to consider my candidature.
So your time is starting now.
Okay.
So your time starts now.
So I hope guys you can hear me, all of you. My name is Stacey. I'm from Kemumsa and I'm a fifth year medical student. You can move to the next slide. So I'm the biggest fan of research. I just wanted to share with you guys my research background. And fun fact, I also do leadership on the side. I have a long-standing reputation of mentorship leadership. And I'm very proud to say I can see some of the people I mentor here, which is pretty dope. And during my free time, I chill with my friends. Yes. So I'm going to share with you guys what I've done regarding research in my school so far. Yeah. So the first thing is I'm the Research and Innovation Center co-chairperson for our school. So our school, Kenya Methodist University, has never had a Research and Innovation Center before. And God willing, I was chosen as the co-chairperson of this center 3 months ago. And I think it's going on well. Then other than that, I was also the chairperson for the second annual Joint Journals Clubs Exchange. I don't know if some of you went, but it was in Egerton last year. And I'm also the principal investigator for 2 projects in our Research and Innovation Center. I am coordinating a grant project at the moment. It's a research grant we applied for. And I'm also a research assistant for YPCDN. And for YPCDN, I also sit in the WHO Youth Council. And then for exchanges, we are doing a students mobility contract by our school and Erasmus and Kemu. And this is a climate project that we are starting with our school. Yes, you can move on. Okay, so this is our Research and Innovation Center. This is the room that we were given before. And this is the room as of 2 days ago. So as you can see, we are really trying our best to make sure that our school has research and innovation centers like other schools. And I'm just lucky that I'm the co-chairperson. You can move on. Okay, so this is my experience in research. Research camp, I think we did a research camp 3 months last year from MSAKE, and we had a lot of students attending and they came up with research proposals. And then we started the score activation process with my outgoing national officer research exchange who was from Maseno. And we also did Scorean of the Month awards for every month. So we'd give local officers awards every month, and you can see that on our Instagram page. And then we also did a really nice research exchange, which people say was really nice, but I had a lot of anxiety because it was my first event. But if you guys liked it, ni sawa. And then also for conferences, then currently I am the score support person for the match meetings for IFMSA. And I'm also the research assistant for this research organization. You can move to the next one. So why do I want to be the National Officer Research Exchange? So because being a National Officer Research Exchange aligns with my 3 core values. So every time I take up leadership positions, I try to make sure that they align with my 3 values, and that's service, community, and peer mentorship. So I try to make sure that we are serving others. I also try to make sure that there's a sense of community amongst the members, and also mentoring each other. Move on to the next one.
Your time is finished, so you can conclude in 15 seconds.
So to conclude, I also shared a calendar of events or a working plan with each of you presidents. So I hope you're going to take your time to go through it, and I promise that I'm going to achieve everything there, because I have a really good reputation of doing what I say I'm going to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well done. So now is Brenda online? And then I guess as we wait for Brenda to start sharing her presentation, is there any school that has not, all of the members are not on the NIMO vote? Is there any school? Msamu, okay, can't see the Msamu president. Lemashon, is Vivian, so everyone is okay? Okay, excellent. Msamu. Okay, so Mikali can take note of that. Any other school? Please, can we conclude on this so that when it's time to vote, everyone can vote smoothly? All right, so I'll take it as it's only Msamu who has a remaining issue. So, Brenda, are you ready to make your presentation? Just allow for this technical difficulty. We are just connecting her audio to the sound system here. But Brenda, your microphone is on. It's picking up. Brenda, just speak right now. Brenda, could you speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
So you have your 3 minutes begin now.
Okay, so hi, my name is Brenda, and I'm a fourth-year medical student from the University of Nairobi. I just want to introduce myself, and I just want to give you my action plan today. So I feel like research it's such an upcoming thing. It's such a new thing. I feel like we're all, it's such a big thing that's happening these days. It's something we're all getting into. It's a necessity these days. It's a necessity as medical students. I feel like we all need to feel like research is the backbone of medicine, and hence I'm really interested in making it available for students, especially medical students worldwide. Worldwide, but especially in Kenya. I personally didn't even know that SCORI was a thing until of recent. So I feel like that is something I really want to work on and just be able to make it known, because I feel like everybody knows about the clinical aspect of medicine, but the research exchange is such a big thing that not a lot of people know about. So I just want to give you my action plan. I really just want to have more research training workshops, because I feel like as medical students, we all learn medicine, but we don't know how to approach coming up with research topics and, just coming up with questions. So I would really want to work on that. Moreover, I feel like just having mentors really guides us. I feel like when we think of research, we just think of it as doctors or specialists in their areas doing it. And I feel like that is something that I really like to to break with SCORI, to be able to have mentors that take us through that guidance, to be able to do this, especially on an international level. I feel like as internationally, being able to go to different countries and seeing how well like they're doing their work, I think that would be amazing. Also, I'd really want to be able to have regional research conferences, especially for medical students. So like maybe have an annual MSAKE research conference that would provide a platform for the students to present their research and also like receive feedback and network with established researchers. And also just inter-university research collaboration. Just connecting students in different universities interest, especially now that we're in after post-COVID age where we can easily connect with so many of our so many different we can approach so many like students. I think it would be amazing how great minds could come up with something amazing. I'd love to be able to make that happen. Yeah.
All right then. Your time is up. So thank you, Brenda. So I think we mentioned that we would do 3, and then maybe we can pause for any questions to any of the candidates. Do any of voting members have any questions for any of the candidates? Okay. Lemashon Collins.
Good evening. So, my name is Miheso Lemashon, Chairperson Amsun. So this is neither a question, it's just a concern perhaps. I think as it stands, not so many people, in as much as we, the medical associations, are part of MSAKE, the ideal members are not the students. There is a dearth of awareness about MSAKE in our schools. So I would want, because we are limited in how we can reach out to students, it then begs the question, then who will do that? So I think as we move forward, it will be the chief mandate of the standing committees to ensure that whichever projects you run also, you run it with the banner of AMSUN, because in my school, perhaps people know SCOPY. If we do a survey, out of 100, let's say 70% know SCOPY. But out of those 70%, 20% will know MSAKE, okay? The others will not know about MSAKE. So I think bridging that gap between our standing committees and the organization will be okay. Now, regarding to that, so I'll start with the SCOMH. This is Patricia. This is just being thorough. There's nothing personal about it. So with regards to your presentation, I took the liberty of checking online under registered NGOs that comply to the government of Kenya. And I didn't see Achilles Heel on the list as of the list that were released by the government. So I'd like you to confirm whether Achilles Heel is registered as a compliant NGO. And as someone who has done a lot, like we see you did, and in 6th year, I don't know what mentorship you've done to the younger students. I believe our mandate also is capacity building. So I would have loved to see more of the people you've mentored even to apply for this, so that next time we may not have only one person showing up. I think the same goes to the scorer, Mary and Stacy, as well as Brenda, so that as the projects, as we move forward, how are we going to at least increase that awareness among students? Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very sound point. It's a question. Okay. Just remember, for this part of the segment, we're mainly focusing on addressing direct questions to the candidates. But you've raised a good point that they should incorporate into their presentations, which is more about awareness. But let's be careful not to digress into just issues of MSAKE instead of dissecting the candidates.
I think you could just allow me to just dissect just one last time, because the concern I'm about to raise, I don't know if it's been pursued perhaps in other opportunities or other avenues, and it involves a lot of participation, especially from the President's Council. So I think at the start of this meeting, we went over the issue of Masinde Muliro, and Jude had raised how sometimes it's very difficult for all the students' associations to raise funding because they're not funded by the school. So I was thinking maybe to pose this to the higher ups. Perhaps it's important to consider if maybe we could pursue centralized options for funding. So if maybe we are not receiving funding from our individual universities or individual schools, then perhaps we should go to a representative body, something like maybe the Commission for University Education, or maybe some people within the education system, who we could perhaps consult on where they stand regarding the issue of student associations, not just specifically narrowed down to medicine, but we can champion for our own cause, of course. So I don't know, maybe that's something we could consider later on. I just brought it forward because I didn't see any other time to put it across. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. So I think we should now go to the next three candidates. So that will be for SCORP, the Standing Committee of Rights and Peace. So we have Emmanuel. Let me just get his full name. Is Emmanuel in the meeting? Emmanuel Kipchumba? Okay, that's all right. So is Anthony Makori in the meeting? So what I'll advise is that Uzima University, you can reach out to Anthony, and then Kisii University, you can reach out to Emmanuel Kipchumba as to the presentation of their candidatures, which is a necessary part of the electoral process. So we can now move on to the Standing Committee of Professional Exchange. So do we have Diana Njeri? Okay, so Diana Njeri is from KU Akums. So James, maybe you can. Okay. All right then. Then we have Humphrey Kibe from Kumsa. Humphrey Kibe. Okay. So we can get his presentation. Okay, just a moment as we get that record. Then in the meantime, for the Standing Committee of Medical Education, Valerie Chemutai and Brian Wafula Siliman can ensure that they've sent their presentations via the form which was shared in the nominated groups. the moment. Sorry, we're facing a technical difficulty. So we also wanted to ask the national officers who are present to be a part of asking questions to the candidates. Maybe what we can do as we wait for Humphreys for this technical difficulty to be resolved, I'll ask a question to Brenda. Brenda. Hello, Brenda. Okay, so this question is to the two officials who are vying for SCORI. So the Standing Committee of Research Exchange basically is capable of being as vibrant as SCOPI, but in all the years that MSAKE has been a member of IFMSA, we've never been activated in SCORI. Being activated in SCORI means that we're able to facilitate people to come for research exchanges, which can take, I think, anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks, 3 to 6 months. And what needs to happen is that, actually, that's my question. How would you, Stacy or Brenda, go about activating SCORI? Because it could be a very major game changer. The reminder I'd like to give to all the presidents is that through IFMSA exchanges, people don't have to pay tuition fees. And as long as you're able to secure funding for your travel costs, you go and you're attached, you're given a place to stay. And, you know, some places you're in a lab, other places you're like in a research institute, you're an intern, a research intern. So even in Africa region, I think other than maybe Rwanda, we don't really have that kind of infrastructure. So Stacy and Brenda, how would you go about it? Maybe we can start with Brenda.
Okay, firstly, I'd like to say I feel like scope is being more like known than research, because I feel like it's just the way I feel like the awareness and the culture. I feel like research is not really coming up. I feel like to activate SCORI, I feel like obviously be included in these international sessions that take place, and also just creating. I feel like University of Nairobi itself, because like I'm University of Nairobi, but like it's got a lot of research opportunities. If we could host incoming students, I feel like that way we could create a strong relationship with them, and we could also have like outgoings.
Okay, thank you. Stacy.
Okay, so to answer your first question on how we go about activating our student chapter, the first thing that the chapters would need is proposals from their various schools, and I think that's something that most schools have, I am hoping. So they would give us research proposals from their schools, and that would be through the local officer. So your local officer is going to give us a research proposal of a project being done in your school, school, and then we or I as the NORE, I'm going to go on the IFMSA website and upload it for IFMSA approval. So what they're going to be approving is they're trying to check if the project that you have submitted is something that the exchange students can actually do, because sometimes you write projects that are not feasible in the 1 month that's been with there. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is you're going to need a tutor. So what a tutor means is you can actually just so for the research tutor, you can just reach out to your patron if you're scared of reaching out to your lecturers, and then we submit that name of the tutor to IFMSA. And then also the local officer is going to submit a form. So on the form, they're going to write, for example, if the local officer is from SC chapter, then they're going to write the name of the chapter that receives University Medical Students Association, and then write some of the like national parks around there, or any creative things that the exchange students can do when they are there, because that form that the local officer fills is what the incoming student will see on the IFMSA portal for Kenya. And then if we get IFMSA approval, then we will activate our MSAKE chapter, and during the August March meeting for IFMSA, we can now do contract. So during the March meeting, after we've been activated, let's say we want to have a contract with Kazakhstan or Canada, so we can now do a bilateral agreement or unilateral, and then now we can be receiving incomings and having outgoing. And then as for participation, because I think Nyaki also asked how people can be vibrant or something the way Scoopy is, I think it's very possible, because last time when we planned the research exchange, people are very vibrant and researchers are very fun. So I think it's very possible.
Those are very good answers. Yeah, but it's really basically what we wish to highlight is that being able to push. So now we can have Humphrey. The presentation has been loaded. Humphrey? And for the people who have not sent in their presentations via the form, please make sure you send it just to my WhatsApp. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Humphrey Kibe from Mount Kenya. I'm a student from Mount Kenya University. I'm in my third year, and a nominated candidate for Scopy. I'm going to share a bit about myself and maybe my plan of action for Scopy. I am the DO club that the last fun day that took place at Pavilion, Mount Kenya, and UNODC as an ethics and anti-corruption ambassador. I am passionate about global and cultural exchanges, as well as universal health coverages. And this is what really motivates me to vie for this seat as the Scopy National Exchange Officer. And my vision is dynamic exchanges, and we need to sort of revolutionize and start something new or make whatever is already there better. And
this is to adapt with my vision, which is in terms of global health and trends of whatever the student needs, especially now that we're in this new era. And my mission is to ensure that copy exchanges are affordable and they have an impactful. They impact the lives of whoever gets a chance to be part of this, and for those who don't get a chance to be part of this, they get to experience whatever those are the guys who are able to bring, like universal health coverages and implementation of such things, and in our country, which has been really a struggle. And my slogan is expanding horizons and empowering future doctors. And this is currently what is happening in Skopje. The previous year, that is 2024, we had close to, this is actually one of the main issues, and we had about 100 applicants for the Skopje exchange program, and of these 100 students, only 75 were able to secure positions and go to their first choice countries. And this is mainly due to an issue with limited slots. And as you can see from the chart there, we have Germany. Germany, actually, a lot of students want to go to Germany, but Germany is only allocated like 3 slots with a lot sum of about 18 applicants. So the other 18 had to go to their second choices. Okay, and this is actually one of my major things I want to embrace. And the previous NEO had actually managed to include other countries such as Egypt in this program. And my dream is to also continue in his steps and include other countries, maybe such as Austria, and to facilitate the securing of more posts for these students, the 43% who failed to qualify for the global exchanges in their first choices.
Diana, I think you've joined now, so you can just start your presentation. And then I'd like to note that right now it's 7:30, so you said we're giving 3 minutes to each, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more presentations, so that we can keep it within that 15 to 20 more minutes of presenting. Valerie Chemutai, Brian Wafula, because you are online, please make sure that you're ready to present as fast as possible. Diana, we still can't see your presentation. Are you making a visual presentation? Diana, we can't hear you. Okay. She says that she'll send it through WhatsApp, but this is very time sensitive. So for anyone else who's sending online, please send in advance and send to my number. And you can ask your respective president for it if you don't have it. So, and then Mia is here in person, and also George and Jared. So for the online people, Valerie and Brian, please have your presentations ready. I think a sort of the interest of time, Diana will come to you once we're able to process your presentation. So what we can do is we can come to Valerie, do you have your presentation that you're able to share directly? Okay, but for the people online, if you're able to present on your own behalf, it would be helpful. Thank you, Valerie. Diana, if you're able to also share on your end, because if you're online, you're able to share directly onto this Zoom. That's what you'll expect. Valerie, your presentation is no longer sharing. Okay, thank you, Valerie. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Valerie from Mount Kenya University, currently a candidate teammates trainer, and I'm applying for the position of National Officer for the Standing Committee of Medical Education. Nyake, I couldn't hear. Sorry, pardon. I still need to understand.
Hello? Oh, sorry. So your time is concluded, so just make your final statement.
Okay, then so I of our previous
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, you can applaud her. So next is Brian In. Brian Siliman. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, doctors. Okay, my name is Siliman Brian Wafula, a third year medical student in Moi University. Recently a SCOM candidate. Okay, about myself, currently I'm the local officer for FAMSA, the Standing Committee of Education and Research, the year 2024-2025. I'm also a member of the Hope and Center Volunteers Hub 2025. I've recently served as a FAMSA Assembly parallel facilitator. That was last year. I'm also enthusiastic about research. We have developed a research proposal this year. That's back at my association. Okay, I'll just like to add a catalyst about this because I all believe we are all leaders. So about a leader, first, there's practicing what is preached, standing to what you say. Also, a leader, you should always strive to improve the health of each member. I mean the welfare of the whole board or the whole group. Okay, also about leadership, you must be also capable of working with others, collaborating with others towards a common goal. Okay, here are the 5 features of a goals for a leader. It should be a specific one, measurable, achievable, realistic, within the time. Okay, this is now my plan of action as I was applying for this role. Okay, number 1, to ensure adequate students' representation at the national discussions. Okay, this, as a national officer, I will ensure in each MSA there is a local officer, say for the standing committees, then the local officers will have their own central committees, their central committees. Okay, the aim here, we want to attain more numbers, large numbers. The large numbers will mean the greater awareness among the students in the MSS about the MSAKE. Okay, as I come to the end of my presentation, I would like to thank you all for taking your time to hear me out, and to all the delegates voting. It's my humble plea that you are going to see in between the lines and are going to make the right choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Let's give him a round of applause. So Mia, you can now come. So now we are doing the second last positions, which is the finance officer. So there are 2 candidates.
Good evening, everyone. I'm pretty sure most of you are tired. It's been a long day. All protocols observed. My name is Mir Ashok Gutka from University of Nairobi, level 5 student, and I'm here as a candidate for finance officer. So who am I? I'm a medical student, as mentioned, in level 5 of University of Nairobi, and also the current class rep for level 5. On the side, I'm also outside medical school. I'm a traveler, hiker. I love cycling, camping, just doing adventures. To add on to that, I've been given the nickname of a CEO when I went to for an exchange at Sweden through Skopje. Due to I have started up 2 businesses of my own. One is called Get Up Kenya, as you can see my shirt, dealing mainly with cycling, motorbike, hiking, camping accessories. And second is Fuel Kenya, that's a new business on sports nutrition. So my previous experiences as a leader or in finance. So current class representative for level 5, where we have about 300 plus students. I am currently the USHA treasurer and part of the executive board. So people who don't know what USHA is, it's a University Student Hindu Association, where we currently have over 200 active members and more than 500 alumni. In this organization, it's fully funded. We raise the funds by ourselves in the committee, where we provide a lot of study and outside experiences, where we have managed to secure a lot of free trainings on ACLS, BLS, BSS, surgical skills, and laparoscopy training for majority of the members. And also, we do raise all these funds by ourselves. I've been part of Ubongo Brain Awareness Logistics Head. I was part of the AMSUN External Affair team in 2022. Another thing is I'm part of an organization. Okay, so to conclude, I'm running for the position of finance officer, and I do have prior skills in accounting, budgeting. Part of it, I've been part of many fundraisers, including multiple raising over millions. And with that experience, I would wish you to vote for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. So now we can have George Knosop. And then the SCORP candidates that we had called earlier are now here, and also Diana. Diana, I hope you're prepared to present. And then we'll also have the SCOF. So Shivya and Andrew. So for all the people who are sending if you're online, don't send the presentation, you present it yourself. If you're here physically, send your presentation to my number. So George, take it away.
Good afternoon. Good evening. I hope you're all doing fine. So first of all, that's me. And let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So who is George? So I'm a second year medical student at my university. I think I'm one of the youngest people here. But I usually say that leadership is not about age, but rather about inspiration, bringing about impact and influence to the society. I'm also the former school captain at Kapsabet High School. I'm a member of MSAMU social media team, assistant finance officer ISEC, member of Baringo Charity Ambassadors, and more importantly, I'm a member of MSAKE. Kindly. Yeah, so this is a certificate I got after taking part in organizing the Western Day Fun Day, and I took part mostly in acquiring the funds for AMPAD and organizing the ferrying of students to that event. Yeah, so why George? So for me, I'm very passionate about leadership. I'm passionate about the mission and vision of MSAKE, and also I'm a person who is always a go-getter. Always ensure that I do my best in everything that I place my hands on. Yeah. So my plan is that, first of all, I want to ensure that MSAKE is registered and we are able to acquire our registration certificates. Also, I want to ensure that we follow the perpetrators who took over our organization and ensure justice is served. Also, prepare a budget, budgeting, financial management, and calendar of events for the whole year immediately after getting into office. This helps in preparing financial proposals in due time. Also, another thing that I want to do is open new MSAKE account after getting, and then with different domains. That is, Scora will have its own domain, Scope will have its own, and also I want us to implement the financial softwares. There are various financial softwares such as QuickBooks, Waves, but for me, I've interacted mostly with Wave, and I think that's very good, and I promise to implement that. Yeah, also I want to ensure that we get sponsors and partners for MSAKE, and also I promise to provide regular financial reports for transparency and accountability. With those few remarks, I want to thank you all for taking your time to listen to me, and kindly, as you vote, kindly consider George Kimoso. Thank you for your time.
Okay, good time management of your presentation. Thank you. So Shivya, could you share your presentation? Shivya.
Will you hear me? Okay, yeah, so that is my presentation.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Your time is now up. So now we can invite Andrew Otieno. And his presentation is already here. Thank you, Shivya.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, we are all medical students, and if I'm not wrong, all of us, or majority of us, are in their clinical rotation. And as you can testify, yeah, we can see that most of the cases in the hospital setup are of chronic illnesses and not infectious. You can see like most of our patients currently are of NCD, non-communicable diseases, e.g., like diabetes, hypertension, and other chronic illnesses which are not infectious. So that can give you a view of the state of our country. So an introduction is next page. Andrew Tieno. Yeah, so basically who is Andrew Tieno? Andrew Tieno is a fourth year medicine and surgery student at Uzima University. Yeah, privileged to be has served as organizing secretary. So yeah, currently, or not currently, as at yesterday, I was the capacity building regional coordinator for MSAKE. Yeah, also the student representative at the Chronic Disease Society of Kenya, for the Nyanza region, and some which I didn't add. Yeah, also serve as the OC for this event and also the OC for the Western region by annual funding. So to start with, I'll ask you what scope or like scope PH. Basically, you'll say scope is a standing committee for public health. But for me, what is SCOPE for me? Yeah, it's more than a committee. It's if I can say, it's like a bridge between the medicine we run at school and what we'll be offering to the general public. Yes. My goals, my vision is to empower medical students. Yeah. For sustainable public health impact through advocacy and prevention. Then my mission is to strengthen public health advocacy and enhance the preventive healthcare. Next. So on my plan of action, my number one plan of action is to strengthen public health advocacy. And how am I going to do this? First role of mine, my first role is to establish the National Standing Committee. And who are the members of the committee? First, we'll have the local chapter officers and the publicity team and other members of the team will act as the grassroots agent for the service of the STEM. Then, in line with the public advocacy, I'll also ensure that within my tenure, we'll have, if I'm not wrong, the first MSAKE Public Health Summit held before October. Then we'll also launch in national NCD awareness and campaigns. Next slide. Yeah, and also as a capacity building man, my final statement, move to the almost last slide. Next. No. Yes. So you can forget about anything, but you should take this away with you. I will ensure collaboration and partnership with other associations that will include the Ministry of Health, and then public health capacity building. You also have public health awareness, advocacy, and policy engagement. Thank you.
We can give him a round of applause. So our last online presenters. So Anthony Makori, are you ready? He's speaking, but we can't hear.
I'm ready.
So so now what we do is we can receive questions. We've gone through the Standing Committee of Public Health, that's Shivia and Andrew. Standing Committee of Rights and Peace, Emmanuel. Standing Committee of Professional Exchange, Diana, who you just heard right now, and Humphrey. And then the Standing Committee of Medical Education, Valerie and Brian. And the Finance Office, Mia and George. So if anyone has any questions to those candidates, this is your time to direct them. Candidates can respond and we can have the candidate for Secretary General, Jared Rono, as the final candidate. Okay. So you just say who you're directing the question to.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm directing my first question to the SCOME candidates. This is from the outgoing NOME position. The question is, what are your plans for capacity building or advocacy in medical education? The second question is, what will be the specific national activity very close to their heart should we expect for you to coordinate? And the final question was, how do you plan to make sure the activities carried out by past teams and by themselves continue in past and in their terms respectively? Also the National Officer for Scope. I'll also like to ask the candidates for Scope, what was the biggest challenge you noted for Scope in the recent term? The second question will be, how would you wish to maintain sustainability for Scope for the coming years? And the final question will be regarding medical peace work. Recently, we have been collaborating with MSSR. What will be your initiative to continue this collaboration? Thank you.
Okay, good evening again. So I have a question for Scopy candidates and the finance officers. So first question to the Scopy. I happen to have applied for a Scopy and I did my exchange in Finland last year, September. And there are a lot of challenges that face us as applicants and the medical students. One is that we know the slots that are available for the Scopy exchange are limited to clinical years. So third year, fourth year going onwards. But we boast a membership of about 7,000. If you take clinical years, that's like 3,500, 3,000, give or take. I don't know if you know the exact limit that we have for Kenya. It's about 60. You presented, you said that 100 applied, 57 got slots. But there is a cap of students who are accepted from this country. Then the question is, with a membership or a potential applications of 3,000, if we actually create good awareness with Scopy, what leverage do we have? How strong are we going to build our portfolio so that we can be able to defend our case and have the slots increased beyond what we have currently? Considering the guidance process, I believe the pre-departure training is a really good initiative that exists, but only for the application process. The bane of you actually going or not stands within the visas. And I think the French embassy is the one that is strong enough among all other embassies to actually do training for those who are going. So it's like 100% assurance of a visa. But for the other embassies, it's really a frustration. So what are we going to do to ensure that each and every person who applies for a visa is able to get it? I have countable numbers that were not able to get their visas because one or two, they are not facilitated well by that. Finally, for the finance team, I haven't had anyone mention on how we are going to raise funds so that the next GA we are not voting on why some of us have not cleared membership registration, because I solely believe it stands within your docket. to ensure that we have capacity building within our member organizations so that we are able to raise funds within our member organization, and haven't seen that thought process for that. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Sam Brian Oko. I'm the chairperson for Medsa Maseno. So my question is directed to the Standing Committee for Medical Education. I think that is where we have Valerie Rotich and Brian Siliman. So I heard your presentations; they're quite elaborate. But then I think I missed on the initiatives that you're going to take as the national officers. So maybe in just some, or maybe let me make it simpler. Maybe in one sentence, or point out the one thing that you're going to do different from the other officers that you've had, because from the whole thing I was listening and there was communication, which I think is basic for any standing committee. So maybe I'd want to know the initiatives or the projects that you'd want to do in your tenures as the national officers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's Humphrey and Diana, and then just both candidates, because I didn't see that process. So for finance, I think it's Mira and I've forgotten the other person. George, yeah, George. Yeah.
Are you talking? 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 Are you talking?
across all organizations under MSAKE. So I think there are organizations that might not be that lucky or privileged to get sponsors and all. So in my opinion, I would like to train other NMOs that they could also be self-sufficient. Probably every organization has at least minimum of 100 plus or 200 students. So if you do an event such as like, let me give an example. Amsun, we have Amsun Art that has like a sip and paint event where they charge 100, 200 per student. So if you do multiple events like that, in a year, your fee is of 18. Yeah. Let's say 12,000. So if you get 120 students over a year, each paying about 100, you can be able to cover. So multiple events will be able to raise multiple funds. And then we can also look into partnerships with other organizations who are looking forward to enhance and grow organizations that are small. Yeah.
Thank you for the question. To answer that question, I'll say three things. The first one is looking for permanent sponsors who will partner with us always in all our events so that we can be able to raise money. Another thing is we can go through the government agencies. We can try to talk to the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health to support us because it is students' activities. And the third thing is I think we can start charity events as MSAKE, whereby you can organize blood drives, you can organize walks, and through that you can be able to raise funds that will be able to sustain us. Thank you.
So if there's no other questions, we'll just allow Emmanuel and Anthony to answer the questions from third years. Val, you can also share your question to your question from Eric, and then we'll have Jared presenting, and then we'll go into voting probably by 8:30. So let's keep our answers also short. Let's give him a round of applause. So he's standing for the position of Secretary General, which is also the position of National Member Organization President. Yes. Okay. So you have 5 minutes.
I wanted to. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm seeing we're all tired. Yeah, that's why I was trying to just go for a very brief overview of this strategy, but kindly go to the PDF. I understand that it's important to also share how you found yourself here, right? Yeah, it's not by accident, and a very big testimony is my classmate Fred, who who has seen me from first year go through med school, understanding various things and experiencing different challenges and risking a lot. Yeah. So by all of you being here is sacrificing the only thing we all have, which is time. And I truly appreciate. Yeah, I've been buying time. Yeah, it's awesome. This has been a very long journey to get to this point, and technical challenges will exist sometimes, but yeah. So this is actually like one of the documents I'm applying to an initiative that is at our local chapter called a Dream Project. Yeah. So whenever you have activities at your local chapter, please participate. There was one thing that we got from our keynote speaker at the sub-regional training sometime in February, and she said, "Occupy space." Yeah. If it's not you, then who, and why not? Because why are you thinking you're not like it, right? So this is just a summary of some of the things I've engaged in, or how I've expended time in medical school. You can just scroll. We don't need to really highlight much. Yeah, just scroll. Just scroll. I want us to go to photos because people like photos. Just scroll. Just scroll. Yeah, so the photos, please. Yes, here there we were at the at the JCOT White Coat ceremony. I was attending a student surgical forum suturing competition. Just scroll. Here we scroll, please. Here we're at Dr. Cup. Here I was at Kenya Model United Nations Conference. Here I was at our Adventist Finalist Sabbath. So let's go to the presentation now. So the journey in med school can be very tedious, and me even trying this in fifth year is a risk, the same way Nyakio has actually tried, and we should actually just appreciate. Please, let's clap for Nyakio. You don't wake up and you just get things done. There was a finalist who recently graduated, and they were saying, to be in med school, all you need is to just put in effort. And yes, that little effort you think is not significant matters a lot. Yeah. So I really hope that the primary thing we all understand in us being here is that we're actually looking forward to something. And if you're not there to augment the effort of your fellow medical student, you're actually depriving them of time they would dedicate to build themselves in one way or another. Yeah. So please go to the. Oh, this has gone all the way to. Please go to the outline. Yes. So I'll just talk about this. In the 3-year strategy we're trying to launch, there are many things that fall in our structure, reforms, like the things that we've seen as adjustments that can be implemented. And of course, you can't do it alone. So everybody who is here is actually a very important stakeholder in simplifying my individual effort and everybody's collaborative effort to getting us to the next level, because we're so far behind. If you look at what opportunities exist out there, just through IFMSA for MSAKE members, we are really so far behind, because yes, I've had emphasis on people are not aware about what MSAKE does, and it's very sad, because even to understand what IFMSA opportunities exist, you just subscribe to their servers and you just be getting emails every day. You don't have to travel anywhere. They do free online trainings, and it's all you need is just sacrifice or risk time. Yeah. So we really hope to have a very sustainable administration. In terms of the leadership structure, I was making a joke. You'll call me the architect because I'm all about structural reform, but that's for another day. For governance, in terms of making sure that we're having proper oversight by having a patron and a matron, and possibly what is known as a supervising council, that it's like as the people who rule with the iron rod or something. Yeah. And of course, we'll have that very key sector of financial sustainability, which is very important in us getting to the next level. In terms of organizational structure, there will be some reforms that will be beneficial to simplify the efforts of the national officers and everybody, including those in the Presidential Council, by giving them resources and skilled, competent, and reliable individuals who can be able to actually augment their initiatives. And for external relations, we'll continue engaging very many stakeholders, signing memorandums of understanding where it's most beneficial and where our needs are most needed. And of course, local chapter development. As it's been said, we need to get to the grassroots, and by you knowing about MSAKE, you don't really have an abundance of time to really go to one person or the next to tell them that, listen, this is what MSAKE is about. I don't know what. Most of the time you'll be just doing something and tell them that this was through MSAKE. And then modernized meeting. This hybrid General Assembly is actually the first in history, which I really think it's the gold standard, because IFMSA usually live streams and has the recorded General Assemblies able to be viewed. You can watch the ones from even the year 2010 if you want. So it's really important that we keep modernizing where we are. And in conclusion, yeah, when there's a call for you to lend a hand of help, because we believe you're able to actually deliver something, just put yourself out there. If you're not skilled, you'll be nurtured. And of course, we don't work alone. We can only get far working together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We can just give him a round of applause. That was our final candidature presentation for the evening. So because we're also in a hurry to go for dinner and also just chill out, because everyone is probably very exhausted from their travels, we'll just allow maybe 2 or 3 questions to Jared. Okay, I'll go with 2. So any question? Who would like to? Okay, so I'll ask a question. So you talked about having a matron and a patron, and then also having a supervising council for MSAKE. And so, I mean, those are some of the suggestions that the Constitutional Review Committee made. Are you saying that the matron and the patron will be in the supervising council? or that's a whole separate aspect, and then supervising council who will make up?
Yes, the ideal structure, from what I've observed working for IFMSA, which has been working from 1951, is that they have a team of officials. And in this team of officials, in our local setting and based on our needs, we will be having the President's Council, and then the Secretariat is what is known as the Vice Presidents in IFMSA. And those are actually the people who call the executive body in IFMSA. And then we have the Secretariat is now supposed to be the national officers. So we have those three organs already. And then the Supervising Council is usually people who have just served in MSAKE and have graduated within 6 months. So if you are falling in that category of you've finished serving in MSAKE with a, of course, credible record, and you haven't graduated more than 6 months, you fall into the eligibility criteria to fit as part of the Supervising Council. In IFMSA, they usually have 3. And these are people you complain to about anybody within this team of officials except the Supervising Council. So they usually receive complaints, and they also deal ramifications to misdeeds.
And just a follow-up question, how will this Supervising Council exist with this President's Council?
The Supervising Council technically is an oversight into everything. Like, there are people who work autonomously. They do not respond to anyone except themselves, that they're the highest executors. So if in case it's a complaint regarding, let's say, a national officer or the Secretary General or a president, if people are lacking the proper channels to engage, they're supposed to reach out to that final decision maker, even if it's a like an event that has been planned by everybody in the team of officials except the Supervising Council.
I have 2 questions. So you've done a commendable job as the capacity building vice chair, and so I have 2 questions. So the first one, what would you do to ensure that MSAKE's visibility is kinda more? Then I know everybody says that the PC is the decision-making body of MSAKE, which is okay, but many a times, especially if presidents have not been in MSAKE before, you find that they do not really understand what MSAKE is all about, and also how they're supposed to take part. So in the capacity building team, is there a plan to ensure that the presidents are also part of capacity building? Because I could see that you're having so many events. You can remember I was always like, can I join that? Can I do that? So is there a way to ensure that as you are also trying to capacity build for the EB and other MSAKE members, the PC is not left behind? Because I know for MSAKE to really take root in our various institutions, then the presidents have to be involved, and they have to be our first ambassadors. So yeah.
Thank you for the question. Ideally, there's also a part of organizational culture, and that involves proper archiving of documents, minutes, and even giving a president's survival kit, let's say, for like an orientation manual. Yes. So having those basic documents while they're stepping into office, while they're getting oriented by a predecessor, it'll be like a softer landing. And of course, since I also am a trainer in the International Federation, we'll be holding soft skills workshop and different workshops that will be free, virtual, that we can all attend to improve ourselves.
Hi, Jared.
Hi.
Jared, hi. So I served as the national officer for scope, and during this time I've realized the importance of involvement of the local officers. I believe the strength of MSAKE relies on their activities and the involvement. What is your plan to don't know, quote unquote, improve their capacity and in engagement for MSAKE activities? Because without them, I think it will be preaching to a choir.
Thank you. That's an excellent question, because it would have been a shame for me not to have highlighted that part. Because as part of the structural reform, we hope to actually have the national office of regional coordinators. So these regional coordinators are to be people overseeing regions. Let's say region A is this Nairobi to Thika road, yeah. Region B is Nakuru. Region C is Kisumu. I know there's Pwani, but there's still will look on how to bring them on board. So by having these regional coordinators, as how I established, and it actually worked in the capacity building division, it actually simplifies the work for the national officer, because them, they have a general assistant, they maybe have somebody for their media, they have now these regional coordinators focusing on tailored projects to meet the needs of those local chapters nearby. And why regional coordinators? It's because it is easy for them to just organize a meetup, organize soft skills workshop, because of proximity. It's geographical, not based on distribution of numbers. And that is actually going to be the simplest way we can actually upscale the outreach to our local chapters, and making them also have strong teams, because it's like, Uzima is just there and I'm from Medsam. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think I loved your presentation, and I was quite challenged by the certificates. We were having them. It was a nice display, yeah? So I have two questions, actually. There's the bit that you've talked about this oversight body. I was a little confused. Is it an oversight body, or it's a decision-making body that can now veto maybe the decisions that are made by the Presidential Council?
No, they're not a decision-making body. They're just like a disciplinary committee. That's the best way to put it, yes. In case there's an offense or a violation of constitution, and there's a dispute regarding on the credibility of factor verification, or maybe there's something that actually transpired within the President's Council or national officers that people are feeling they can't really reach out to them directly, because maybe they'll be having some barriers. Those are the people they now get to, because there are people who work impartially to actually get us better.
Okay, thank you. I think it wasn't coming clearly. And then the second question, I think over the past few years, we've had some trouble as MSAKE. And I think I have to give credit to Nyakio, because she's really tried under her leadership. I think this issue with the registration bit, and there was also some stuff around it. So I think you're quite aware, because you've been in MSAKE for some time, and I'd want to know your take on it and what you're going to do about it within in your tenure as the Secretary General.
Yes. We've been working under let's say we've been in a hardship area, so it's not been easy, but yes, we're also driven individuals, and of course, as a team, we've been prioritizing giving people value while we're trying to circumnavigate these challenges that exist. It's not that they have been brushed off or they've been sidelined. They're actually things that are continually progressing, because we need to have a proper, sustainable organization, and by us rectifying the errors that still are existing to this point, those will be like good hurdles to skip this tenure if it's possible. But if in case it's not possible, we'll capacitate and give the necessary tools to our successors to make sure that we are actually moving and resolving whatever is pending.
Maybe I think it was a general comment. Now I don't want maybe the specifics. I'm a little interested on the specifics around it.
The specifics.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we are able to disclose, but yes, we are putting all the efforts that we can in our limited or apparent capacity to actually get those things resolved. And yeah, we're not sleeping. Yeah, we have not been sleeping on those issues.
One last question, I think, as we close. I think I usually like asking people who go for these positions. What is the one thing that you're going to look maybe at MSAKE after 5 years, because your term is only going to be for a single year, and then we'll say that within 2025 and 2026 we had a Secretary General. He was called Jared Rono, and this is something that he did that you can look back to and really say that he had some nice impact to this organization.
Yes, I would really advocate for that structural reform, because it's the way we can be able to upscale our simple efforts through reliable, competent individuals who are given granular details on the realistic achievables and being coached as needed, not being directed, to actually work on our initiatives and improving our funding models by making sure we are creating awareness way in advance, so that we are not facing hurdles in individuals actually subscribing to our events, because that's also a barrier.
Okay. Thank you for your questions and for grilling the various candidates. For that question on the registration certificate, I think one thing maybe can include in the answer is solving the problem of having legal infrastructure and legal advisory, because that's a core component of most associations, which we lack. Many due to lawyers are expensive. So as a PC with the new EB, if there's any way that, like the way we got, let's say, a grant for an audit, look into how we can get a grant just for our legal activities or what we need. And yeah, we'll share more suggestions on that tomorrow. So Kirwa, can you hear us? Because now we want to do the voting. So Kirwa and Thaddeus are coordinating the NEMO vote. So Kirwa, can you hear us, and are you able to? I suppose of information is that this is the first time that we are voting like this. So as you may or may not know, the President's Council is the highest decision-making body that represents each association. And so they have the powers to be able to change the constitution. And so the proposal to create MSAKE voting colleges was initiated last month. And it was either to have a voting college of 3 members or a voting college of 4 members. And the members voted on, the majority voted on 3 members. So the 3 members are generally comprised of the president, the treasurer, and the secretary general. And in the case that an association does not have a secretary general, it's the vice chair. So now, Kirwa. To vote for the 8 positions, and we're going to have 1 minute each. Thaddeus, could you maybe reach out to Thaddeus? I'm wondering if Thaddeus, could you please reach out to Kira, because there's no response on the Zoom. And then for anyone who has not registered with Jude, the finance officer, as today we have numbers that we had not anticipated, please see him. Also, there's a form which I think stagnated at some point. Who has not signed this form? Like registered their presence? Okay, make sure that your name is on this sheet. So yeah, you can just pass it down. So currently, the people who are online are the ones you see on the far left, that a total of 47 registered voters. So there are the other people who vote. So there's the 3 times the 11, so 33. And then we have the standing committee national officers who will each vote as per their docket. And then you have the finance officer and myself. And the votes are of all equal weighting. Kiru, I think, can we hear you? Can you speak? What we can do, can we just go round? We can just go round. So we can start with like we can go through this voters list together so we can know who to remove. Although I'm seeing that not all of the eligible voters are online. So if you see your delegate on the far left, please prompt them. So the way you're online is simply by logging into the credentials which are sent to your email. We'll just go through the list of the people at least who are online. Then we'll know who is voting for each school. So Akoko Jimmy, which school is that? Then you can note that third yes. Akoko Jimmy. So Jekusba, one candidate, that's there. Okay. Then Akum Secretariat. That's you. Alvin, on behalf of Msamu. So I hope you're noting that. Then Lydia Jekusma, so 2 for Jekusma already. Thank you. So Brian Wari, who's the voting delegate is that? Brian Wari. Huh? Then the Zoom meeting. Yeah, but maybe the president can claim them. So unless he's from Msau, not Msau, from Samus, then he should be removed. Akums. James doesn't look like he agrees. Okay. So question mark on Brian Wari. Then Eric. Which Eric is this? This lowercase? That's you. So the Egerton. You made sir, that's Debbie. So 2 for them. Aya Adan. Great. So the first one. Sorry. Brian. Yeah, he's from Akums. And Karen. I saw Karen Gitao here. Yes, 2. So far there's no duplicates. Jesse. Kemu. Josiah. Unclaimed. Okay. Thank you. Kamis, sorry. Sorry. Mkumsa. Great with Fred. Medsam. Mkumsa President, Fred. Msamu Kemboy. Omonche is online. Omonche has been claimed by Kemu. So let's just scroll. Kirwa. So Owaga Luke. Okay, so Jekuzma has all of the delegates. Well done. Peter. Okay. Sylvia. So Msamu has all of the delegates, I believe. Sylvia. This is Sylvia who? Someone claimed this Sylvia. Okay, unclaimed. Thaddeus Kemu. So Kemu candidates are complete. Vivian Muridi. This is Vivian Muridi Lemashon. So I think all of the candidates for Amsun are there. And then Wesley, one member. So I've not seen any, I think, Musaku delegates. Because Musaku delegates. So currently it's 9:01 and we know everyone has been onboarded. So maybe what we can do. Okay, so Karen, you're saying that you're online, but it's showing that you're not. Maybe refresh the page. You can refresh the page, Kirwa. Okay, see, now you're there. For the people who are saying they are not online. Yeah, so all of the candidates on the left. Kiro, I think you need to explain this technical, because I'm seeing people who we confirmed were online and not online. So it may be that when the computer is off briefly, or that it's not working. Okay, so we'll just give 5 minutes for those candidates who are not yet there. and then we should really get to the voting. Here, I think we can do the vote. So just know, as per that roll call that we did with the people also here, then we can start with the first vote. So okay, so I think we can now go to since so today we started with the list that we had for the presentations. There we are. So the first standing committee that we had, the candidate was for SCOMH. So we can do SCOMH first. So that one had one candidate. So essentially it's if this is a vote of confidence. We're waiting for him to start the vote. So what happens is, as soon as Kira, could you maybe give insight onto what we're waiting for? So what happens when he clicks the OK on his end, then we'll be able to see the voting on our or on your console, you should see a scorer one has opened. There's only one person in scorer because the other person stepped down. So we're closing the scorer in 30 seconds. You should see that your vote was recorded. So we're closing the one for scorer. So the next one is for scope. The vote is open for scope. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll be closing the one for scope in 30 seconds. And then next we're opening for scorp. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the voting for scope is closed. Now we're opening the vote for scorp. Standing Committee of Rights and Peace. So we're closing the voting for scorp. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the next category we are doing now, we can do scopy. Committee of Professional Exchange. Scopy is open. So there's 30 seconds. Okay, so we have just a moment. Oh, the time is actually up. Yes, you can close it. So the next standing committee is for SCORI. Okay, so we'll do standing committee on medical education. There's a complaint raised by a member with concern to the SCORI candidatures. So SCOMI, just do SCOMI. If then there's any other disputes, please just let us know. So SCOMI, is SCOMI open? So 40 more seconds for this vote. So next, after SCOMI, we will do finance officer, then secretary general. Then we will listen to the members' complaint first before we do SCORI. So close this. Yes, no, 15 seconds. So you can close the SCOMI candidature. Now we can open the finance officer. Okay. So currently we should be on finance officer. So the closing of finance officer is being done now. So Secretary General, thank you. Secretary General, just refresh. It should be available now. Okay. Secretary General is open. 30 seconds. Okay, so we are completed with the Secretary General, so the member can make the complaints and then we can just have a response.
Yeah, so it was brought to my attention that candidates withdrew from the race and then officially via email and then attempted to come back to the race again. And I think that's very improper and unofficial. You can't just withdraw and come back for the race. Maybe the people running the electoral system can inform us the decision to bring them back to the race. But I believe it would be a decision by the PC because that should be treated like a late application. Because I remember the first time people applied, there were people who applied incorrectly, and then there were late applications, and the President's Council had to vote to let them back in. So I think we also have to follow the same channel to let back this candidate into the race.
Any responses? So the candidate in question is for Scori. So there's two candidates, one from Kemumsa and one from Amsun. So the one from Amsun had withdrawn, but she also formally, but she also shared a response that she would like to vie again. So we'd just like to hear any responses from any of the other presidents who might weigh in on the matter. Then we can decide on the validity of that candidature.
Good evening. I think the matter is whether or not the proper channels are followed. I think the questions that it begs with the process that we've gone through previously. So we rolled out applications, after which I believe we did not receive enough responses, and then we decided to open up late applications, which we also allowed that. Contrary to, I don't know if there are any regulations. There are no regulations that says that we should or should not open up, I believe, the chances for you to come back to the race. So we allowed late applications again, and people are allowed to join in. And then on that, so if the channels for communication for joining the application is via email, and those that is considered the official application channel, then I believe also the return to the process under consideration should also be by email. So if a candidate dropped out through email and officially returned through email, if they have sufficient evidence within which they are returning again, I believe they should not be left out. Thank you.
Yeah, so the proper channels would be like once they sent an email to rejoin, I think that would be now a decision by the President's Council. They can't just be let in. So what I'm asking is like to make this quick, the presidents here, we can just vote on whether we should allow them. Personally, I think that's a very sorry to say that's a confused candidate because you withdraw, then you come back in. Yeah. So presidents should consider that. Okay. And I believe it's the role of their host president, Kumtetea Arudis. So Lemashon, you can say something, and then the president's vote.
I think one thing is that we don't have the necessary documentations or agreements. I hope Jared would work on that in his tenure to guarantee the process on how it's going to happen. Not that we don't have a proper channels within which you are going to allow her or deny her in. I think one of the things that you would have brought to attention first is whether or not you accepted the email or not. But that step was skipped. The next step was whether or not she was allowed to attend the interviews. Then we should have barred her from presenting her pitch during the interviews on that constant. I think doing that at this particular point in time would now be malicious also from our end, because we could have stopped her at so many steps along the way until this final position.
So what we can do is we can take a vote on whether they will be considered in this vote or not. So there's 4, the person to be allowed, and against, same 2/3 majority.
I think in addition to, I don't think we were notified whether or not she dropped out. This is being brought to our attention right now. So I think also communications from that side of yours is to be questioned, because if you had tackled it earlier on, it could have been way easier to weigh on the option.
Okay, that can be an apology from the administrators of the election. Yes, that should have been amended early enough and presented to the President's Council. But the only notice I'd say is that the email came today at 5 a.m. So it's not an excuse to drop out. But now the same day, there was a response to rejoin. So we apologize for not having relayed that information to the presidents on time and the voting colleges. So I think now we can vote on it. Final comment from Mkumsa.
So good evening. First, as the presidential council, I think it was so inappropriate for us to be sitting here listening to candidates who had earlier on trying to withdraw from the polls. And that aside, I feel also it would have been very key that we as president are first notified of their resignations with the reason as to why they withdraw from the polls. And if they decide to come back again to the race, it should also be appropriate that it's shared with the presidents as to the reason why she or he feels that they should be allowed back to the race. And also put it the very first reason why she tried to pull out, what has changed in between. So I don't know, but it's something we can discuss as the presidents to agree or disagree on the same, on how to go about it. Thank you.
Okay, so we've listened to both sides. So what I can say is, as of yesterday night, the list of the qualified candidates who were sent, and even the list of the voting system when it was being created, she was there. Then I think not many of us knew, because I think even until Lemashon called, I was not aware that she had dropped out. Then considering that she came for the interviews, I know you guys have done the Viva exams, Cindy, and we can all agree that at times, like, you just know what happens. Then considering she gathered the courage to step back to the race, I think that's something that we can appreciate. Then on the issue of the breakage of communication, we can maybe today was a busy day and Yaki was not able to communicate to us as the PC. but Lemashon approached me as the PC chair, and I think he also texted in the PC group. Now, I think that can be identified as a gap in the constitution that the constitution team needs to sit down and work on. But considering she came for the interviews, I think it's only fair enough if she's given an equal chance. And even us discussing this, I think that would be prejudice considering she attended. If we were able to stop it at the start, why were we not able to do it? So we cannot fault her. The people to fault are is the students. Yeah, so I think considering she attended, she should be given a chance.
So I think those are that because if from the presidents to be able to comment on it, it might not be appropriate for non-PC members to weigh in on the matter. Yeah. So I think we can now just do the voting on that. So all for just continuing the vote as it is with the two candidates. You can raise your placards. Can raise your placards if you're for the candidate to be included. Yes, you can. They were voting on whether that candidate who had withdrawn and come back is going to be included in the vote. So just raise your placard if that's okay.
Hi guys.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, Jude. So my name is Lydia, J. Kusma chairperson. So before we started this meeting, something was brought up on whether Masinde Muliro should be allowed to vote or not, right? And we all gave our input. So my question is, even up to right now, we still don't know what the content of the email was on why she was dropping out and now why she was coming in. And now, since it has not, I feel like we should be able to know the reason why, if it is not that so personal, and then we can now say, okay, the problem is now with the presidential council because of communication etc. We can now allow her to just continue the process because ideally it's not her problem. If we really wanted her not to be in the ballot, then it would have been communicated earlier. So now what was the content of the email?
So there's nothing that's personal. They just said after much thought and consideration, they have decided to step down from applying for the position. It was not an easy decision, but they believe it's the best choice for them at this time. So they appreciate the opportunity and the support they've received throughout the process and the consideration for the application. And then the following email for coming back is just after some consideration, I've decided to rejoin. There's no reason. And because right now we're talking about a constitutional gap. That's when why we have to vote on it, because there's no regulation on what happens when someone steps out. It's like we don't know. So that's why I think it's just better when people have made input like you have right now. And okay, the last one, because guys, remember we have dinner. We still have dinner, not to bias to rush an important decision.
So I think it's a tricky situation that you are in. Especially if you're supposed to be doing this vote, you'd have done it before the interviews, because I think that was a part of the whole electoral process. But now here we are, and she has passed, I think, some stages within the voting process, and the only thing that is remaining is the official voting, I think. And I don't think we need to vote at this time. Maybe just go ahead with. She had started the journey, and I think it would just be prudent enough to. That would be malicious of us, so to say.
So I think that is the last one. So all in favor of allowing her to vote, you can raise your placards. All in favor of allowing her, of allowing the person to be in this vote, and just carry on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30, 2/3 majority, 8. So now we can do the score revote. So Kira, if you're still, oh, thank you. So you can now refresh your NEMO votes, and then we will receive the results for all of the positions right now. Yeah, score, it's opening. Maybe, okay. Just refresh. Is it on? So now you should be seeing the options for the scoring officer. So Kira, we can do the vote. We can now see all of the results. No, not yet. We have 30 seconds. Okay. So thank you. This is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now we can have a review of the results. So the ceremony by which this will be done. Kira, you can share the same way we started, SCOMH. So those are 33 votes. And the weighting is out of the colleges, we said were 44, so that's a 2/3 majority. Okay, that's good. So Patricia Obinda of Kemumsa, you are the National Officer of the Standing Committee of Mental Health 2025-2026. Huh? So you can join, you can come to the podium. Like you can come here, Patricia. Yeah. Congratulations. So yeah. Now we can go to the scorer. So the 2025-2026 standing committee, I'm so sorry, I always scorer's name. The Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights, including HIV and AIDS Standing Committee, National Officer is Mary Jerop of Msamu. Let's applaud her so she can join Patricia. Congratulations. So we can now go to the Standing Committee of Public Health. So the Standing Committee of Public Health 2025-2026 National Officer is Andrew Otieno of Nsau. Congratulations. Okay. So now we can go to Scorp. So the Standing Committee of Rights and Peace National Officer 2025-2026 is Emmanuel Kipchumba from Nsaku. You have someone stand. Okay. All right, then congratulations to you, Emmanuel. So now we can go to Scopy. So the 2025-2026 National Officer of the Standing Committee of Professional Exchange is Diana Njeri of Akums. And she has only 19. So let's congratulate her. She's also online. Okay. So we can now go to SCOMI. SCOMI, Medical Education. So the National Officer for the Standing Committee of Medical Education 2025-2026 is Valerie Chimutai Rotich of Mkumsa. Congratulations to her. Okay. And now we can go to SCORI before going to finance. So SCORI, the Standing Committee of Research Exchange 2025-2026 National Officer is Stacy Akinyi of Kemumsa. Congratulations. Okay, so now the Finance Officer. So the 2025-2026 Finance Officer is George Kimosop of Msamo. Congratulations. Okay. And then now for Secretary General. I hope we've gone through all of them. Yeah, we have. So the 2025-2026 National Office, Secretary General and National Member Organization President is none other than Jared Rono. Congratulations. Yeah. So at this point, maybe we can just hear from each of you, maybe something for 1 minute. As remember, we need to depart and close the night because we have tomorrow. And then we'll just have final remarks in a structure of tomorrow to be outlaid. So we can just start from the way we began.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for voting me in. I assure you that it's going to be one of the best years that MSAKE has ever had. And I'd like to give this quote. At the end of it all, we will not remember the wickedness of our enemies. We will only remember the silence of our friends. And so I know this is a good opportunity for us to begin speaking, to heal lives, to bless each other as medical students. I know it's going to be a good year. Thank you.
Good evening. There's this mantra I live by. We say that if you want to go faster, you walk alone. But if you want to go further, you walk with people. So I believe there's beauty in unity. And thank you so much for voting for me as Kora National Officer. I believe I'll work towards advocating for SRHR and also collaborating with other members and making a good team for 2025-2026. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm used to everyone starting with the quote. Anyway, I'm not a quoter, so I'll just thank you for voting me in. I hope I'll do what I promised to do. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stacey again, and thank you so much for believing in me. The only thing I'd request you guys to do is I sent you guys the calendar of the year for SCORE, and most of you didn't open because it will notify me. So please, you can try to open, and then if you'd like me to incorporate something else, please inform me. And I'll leave you with a quote now that everybody was quoting something. So my favorite quote, and it's even on my LinkedIn, is we lead to serve. If service is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for voting me in. I won't say much, but I'll let my work speak for me. Thank you.
For Emmanuel and Diana, do you have anything to say? Just indicate on the comments. Are they available? Are they able? They must. They must. Okay. I don't know if you can hear the applause. And I can't hear Kipchumba. Okay, so because of time, we'll just move to Jared and then we'll have our closing remarks for the evening.
Good evening once again. Yes, like I started, med school is already challenging. So I really hope that you see these people who have decided to risk their time to help us get better at a national level, international level. I had a vision of occupying FMC, so I'll make sure I put out an outline for all of you to be able to look for pathways where you can now go serve at the international level. This is not it. And of course, we all have so much space to occupy. And yes, I'm a fan of people on LinkedIn, and a quote that was highlighted was, "In the brevity of our existence, just leave a mark." Yeah. just leave a mark. Thank you.
Okay, so on that note, I'll just invite you and to sit. Tutachukua picha vizuri kesho. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take, because now we need to go for the dinner. So without further ado, today we were meant to do report reading and the elections. We've accomplished only one of those two things. So we wanted to ask how we can go about this tomorrow. Our proposition was to be able to start tomorrow at 7:45, because it's at the end of the day it's online and it's just your opportunity to scrutinize everything that we've done, down to the finances, and then even have points for handover for the following teams. So that's what we would like to be able to stream in the morning, and the only way that we can make up for our today we started at the time we were supposed to finish, and honestly the event, guys, it can't work if we are not all on the same page. So tomorrow, what time? Because we'll organize something to eat from 7, and it will be closed from 7:30, so that we can be here by that time and just do the report reading so the rest of the program can take place. So that's what we're proposing, because we also live close in the Airbnbs. So maybe from the other teams, is there any point that needs to be made before people go for dinner? Actually, there's one point, and actually it was during roll call that this should have been done. So I wanted to introduce all of you to a medical student all the way from Pwani University who's joining us. So he'll be joining us as an observer. Currently, they're forming their own association, which is PUMESA, the Pwani University Medical Students Association. And so maybe you can just greet us, because that should have been done at the start, and then we're done. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I have some instructions just to greet us. Is that all? That is what you said. Thank you. I must say that I'm happy to be amidst us to this evening. Pwani University is the youngest school, I think, of medicine in Kenya today, having only first years and second years as of today. Maybe the main challenge I would give to those of us who've been elected today is please perform actively, because some of us are waiting for those positions tomorrow, okay? So we want you to, by the time you're leaving the office, you're able to be comfortable of what you've done. Not so I pray for you. I bless you. I pray that God guides you in all that you do as you lead us. Have a good evening.
So I guess on that note, maybe I'll just make the closing remarks and a prayer. So thank you to all of you who have been here throughout this time. Thank you to all of you who put in the effort for your candidatures, and even to those who are officials right now, to those who are officials in their own right because of their responsibility and initiative. I wish you all the best, and we shall have more of those handover pleasantries tomorrow as we look to a more celebratory tone. So in the morning, we'll have the report reading. As we said, we've added it to the early morning activity. And then we'll have the conference up until 1. And then in the afternoon, guys, that's when we'd like to just have our team building, allow people to swim, relax. It's Saturday, and then prepare for the gala in the evening. So on that note, let me pray. It's been my pleasure convening this election. So God, thank you for today. Thank you for bringing everyone here safely. Sorry, maybe, excuse me, we're praying. Okay. Mukali. Okay, thank you. So God, thank you for today. Thank you that we've been to have this election, and for everything that we're able to do. We just want to pray for the candidates who are successful, And we even want to also pray for the candidates who have not been elected in this election, but we also thank you for even leadership. And even we just pray that we may have a good time the rest of the weekend, and that you may continue to guide MSAKE. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Thank you. So dinner is on that side. We have the food cards here. Jude and I will be distributing them.